Right people, it's time to discuss the Apple Vision Pro. Not the biggest fan of the name by the way, but anyways, we finally have the long rumored headset, and it basically has everything I expected, including the insane price. But the question now is this really going to be Apple's next big thing? Well, let's delve into it. So obviously I have not tried this, and considering I'm not based in the US, I won't even be able to buy this for review on day one because the rest of the world is getting it later in 2024, whatever that means. But based on what Apple showed us, there are aspects I did like about this and can see myself using. Particularly, it's the content consumption aspect that massively interested me because the Disney Plus tie-in Apple showed us on stage was absolutely incredible, and the fact you can now be immersed in the world of the show as you're watching it looks pretty unreal. I actually remember specifically the Star Wars demo blowing me away because you could feel like you're literally on the sets of The Mandalorian and Yoda could be right next to you as you're watching the show. That is pretty ludicrous. And considering Disney owns pretty much every major IP on the planet, this is a massive partnership Apple secured, and I'm sure others will follow suit and optimize their content for this headset. Not only that, but of course, as has been the case for VR headsets for a while now, you can watch a movie with a massive screen that wraps around you right in your home, and this even has the awesome digital crown that lets you control how much you're immersed in a virtual world. And so yes, if I had the cash, it would be awesome to basically have a virtual home theater setup with your VR headset. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. The main feature that particularly got me interested were the new immersion videos that Apple showed us. It was 180 degrees in 3D and 8K resolution, so just imagine watching that on the headset. It would be mind-blowing stuff, and I wish I could experience it. Now obviously we need mainstream content to be shot in the standards, but considering Apple has tons and tons and tons and tons of cash, I'm sure they can encourage the big studios to jump on this and optimize their videos in this immersive content format, similar to what Disney's done. And considering it's 4K per eye and packs 23 million pixels in each display, the watching experience on this should be a lot better than anything else on the market. I do want to mention though, are there volume controls on this? Also, do these have bone conducting speakers or are they just regular speakers? And if so, how do they sound? Unfortunately, we don't know yet. I haven't seen any hands-on videos answering my questions, so I guess we'll have to wait till the guinea pigs buy this on day one and tell us their thoughts. I do want to mention, by the way, how you control the headset is also pretty incredible. The rumors were spot on about this because it's got eye tracking as well as hand tracking, and so personally this is much easier to use than a controller, and based on what Marquez said during his brief hands-on with the headset, this apparently works really well and it's super intuitive, which I'm glad to hear about. And also another smart feature I did like is that similar to the iPhone and Face ID, this has Optic ID, so it scans your iris before letting you access the headset. Now Apple obviously flexed the gaming ability of this headset, since this is probably the primary use case for most headsets right now on the market, but I'm hoping developers can jump on board and actually optimize their big titles for Vision OS, because the biggest issue macOS has is the fact a very small portion of gamers actually use Macs, and so many games are not optimized for macOS, even though these have the power to run it. And while considering the Vision Pro has the very powerful M2 inside, this can easily run some of the biggest titles, but it all depends on developers and whether they're willing to jump on board to Vision OS and bring their games to this platform. Also, side note guys, I find it pretty odd this did not get the M3 because we know that's going to be a big upgrade over the M2. Now yes, it's possible the supply issues are the reason Apple's using M2 instead, but either way guys, by the time this launches, the M2 is going to be 2 years old, and so this could have benefited from getting new silicon, especially if it did improve the battery life. Anyways, the next thing I was impressed by and could see myself using is virtual desktops. So this is already offered on Meta's Quest Pro, but because that has 1080p panels, it's not as sharp, but this being the Apple headset, with the 4K panels, and also the ecosystem integration means you can now look at your Mac and whatever's on it will be enlarged on the headset, meaning I could technically edit videos on this, which is pretty neat. And ultimately, I could see myself using this over external displays one day because number one, you can have as many windows as you want, and also number two, it can be any size. So that's everything that excited me, guys, but let's now talk about the features that are not so great with this headset. Firstly, this has 3D cameras, so you can now record moments and play them back in VR using the headset. But let's be honest, guys, do you really want to record your child's birthday party looking like this? I would much rather just prefer to experience the memory with, of course, no bulky headset covering my eyes. Also, I'm not sure Apple thinks people are going to have conversations with others whilst using the headset because this looks creepy, guys. I can't take someone seriously when they look like that. The same goes for FaceTime because the headset creates an AI version of you that others see when speaking with them, and this just looks unnatural. Now yes, it is better than what Meta does, but it still lacks the personal touch of you directly speaking to them, and even during the demo, the expressions and movements of the avatar was a little iffy, and I feel like that would put off consumers if they're trying to have a FaceTime convo because for the person on the other end, it's not going to be as natural. But by far the worst thing about the headset, and the major Achilles heel, is the battery life because this only offers 2 hours of endurance. Yes, you heard me right, 2 hours. So that means you can't even watch the WWDC event on this headset in one go because that was longer than 2 hours, and most movies are longer than 2 hours. And so yeah guys, that's pretty annoying. Now technically you could have multiple of these battery packs, and so 4 or 5 of these could get you through the day, but it's still a massive inconvenience that you have to carry around this battery pack, and it has to be swapped out so often. Also, we have no idea how expensive the battery packs are going to be because knowing Apple, they could charge $150 or $200 for one single battery pack, which is insane. And so this is easily the number one feature I'm waiting for the second gen headset to improve because when it's $3,500, I want an uncompromised experience, and so they have to make the battery life a lot better. Also, Apple for some reason showed people using this outdoors and on aeroplanes, but honestly this seems too bulky to be a portable device, and especially when the battery life is so bad, I feel like most are going to use this indoors at the comfort of their home. And ultimately, while there are some promising features with the Vision Pro, it is ultimately a first gen product, so it does have its fair share of flaws, and so I'm definitely going to wait till the tech matures before I consider buying this. Obviously, I don't have $3,500 to spare in the first place, and so like rumors were suggesting, this very much is going to be a niche product, and Apple's not going to sell many of these, but because it's the Pro variant, I'm hoping a cheaper version launches eventually, and once they make this much more accessible, I may consider one, because the content consumption aspect of this product has real potential and could take off, and could possibly replace TVs if you live alone, of course. And more excitingly, I'm still hoping this paves the way for the AR glasses we've also heard about. I could really see this being the next big thing and replacing the iPhone. So yes, I'm looking forward to seeing what Apple does and what developers do with the headset and where it goes from here. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.